Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. This morning I have a special reading for you. It's called What is Your 80s Theme Song and Why? And so I have some pre-shuffled piles here for you to choose from, and please let your intuition guide you. We have pile number 1, Cool Pink Rock, pile number 2, Raw Emerald, pile number 3, Serpentine, pile number 4, Smoky Quartz, and pile number 5, Lemurian Crystal. So that's pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let your intuition guide you and choose your pile. I'm going to move the piles aside for right now. Okay. So we are in a Mercury retrograde, so I'm going to periodically check the, I'm going to periodically be checking the technology to make sure everything's working. Okay. So for you, pile number 1, who chose the Cool Pink Rock, what is your 80s theme song and why? So your 80s theme song is Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. Okay, and why is this your song? So right away, pile number 1, I see the Magician here, and the Magician is all about manifesting and bringing things into form, and actually drawing on universal energy as above, so below, in order to fulfill your mission in life. And so the Magician is a very auspicious card and tells me that it has a big, and it's also a major arcana card, so it has quite a bit to do. It's a big focal point of this reading. So let me just read you a little bit about, read you some lyrics from Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. You can Google that song or check it on Spotify, but some lyrics say, last night a little dancer came dancing to my door. Last night a little angel came pumping across my floor. Come on, baby, I've got a license for love. She don't like slavery, she won't sit and beg. But when I'm tired and lonely, she sees me to bed. What set you free and brought you to me, babe? What set you free? I need you here by me. Okay, so this might have to do with a relationship, but it also might not. And the way that I'm looking at these cards, and because of the 6 of Cups here, it could very well have something to do with a relationship. But I see this little girl here. It looks like she's thrown some things up in the sky, and somebody is watching on as she does it, right? So what set you free and brought you to me? What caused you to just kind of let go and let things happen as they will? And because we have this air element here, and also the Magician, this could be like a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. It doesn't have to be, but you know, we could be looking at, or Mercury, we could be looking at Geminis and Virgos, because the Magician rules Mercury, and then we have this air element card right here too. And you know, with being a rebel, you would think that this card, ordinariness, really is out of place here, but I don't see it that way, because you have these beautiful pink flowers that are on this tree, that are budding on this tree as he's taking a walk. You'd expect to see the green leaves, not necessarily this beautiful, like, hot pink flower. And I think what this is saying to you here, pile number 1, is that when you're doing some ordinary things in life, such as taking a walk, or going to sit by a pond, or going to hang out in nature with friends, or hanging out by a tree, whatever it is that you're doing, that you are going to be receiving information, and it's going to be extremely helpful for you, pile number 1, during this time, because you have this air element here about communicating. When you are basically focusing in and just going for a walk, and you're just letting things be for what they are, then you're going to be receiving information at that time. And that's why, you know, that's why it says here too, last night a little dancer came dancing to my floor. Last night a little angel came pumping across my floor, right? I think you're gonna be getting some information that you need from, you know, as above, so below, from above, right? So, and this air element is pointing up and talking about communication. We also have the crown chakra here, which shows that you are receiving information during these times. But the Two of Pentacles here, it talks about choices that you've had to make and opportunities that you have in front of you. With the Magician, you could be and the Two of Pentacles, you could be manifesting quite a few new opportunities for you in 2020 that really speak to you. And also, you know, the line that I love most from the song is what set you free and brought you to me, right? And when she's throwing these, it's hard to tell, like throwing these flowers up in the air, it's like just a joyful expression. Also with the magician here, it's about harnessing universal energy, right? And there's total freedom in this. There's total freedom in getting focused on yourself, your mission, communicating with whatever wants to come through for you and communicating with that. So I'm going to read something here from this Focus on the Light deck, from Elena Fairchild's Focus on the Light. And let's see what it says. A tremendous force of light is gathering around you. It is attracted to the purity of your intention to create from your heart. As your intention grows, so does the light. As the light grows, so does your intention. Magic wants to happen for you now, the Magician. The synchronicity, perfect timing, opportunities, and information that are needed will seem to be drawn right to your door. You may start to feel as if you cannot walk outside without stumbling into something helpful, wonderful, and inspiring. I think this is beautiful energy here for you, pile number one, showing it's best to stay focused on your pure heart and intentions. Just allow all else to happen in its accord without making it mean anything too personal, right? Be in the flow, be in the magic. And that's why for pile number one, you have Billy Idol, Rebel Yell as your song for 2020. Okay, so with that, pile number one, that's your reading. Let's move on to pile number two. Just checking the technology here before we move on. Okay. So pile number two, oops. Pile number two, this is your reading. And here we have a raw emerald. If you chose pile number two, this is your reading, the raw emerald. So pile number two, what 80s song is for you and why? Okay. And I love this one. It's Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters, Who You Gonna Call? So let's just read that real quickly here. There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? I ain't afraid of no ghost. Bustin' makes me feel good. Okay, so this song to me is about facing fears and you know, being the one to basically break free from those fears. And sometimes when fears come up, it's challenging, and fear can be very persistent in our lives, right? But this song is all about, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Who you gonna call, right? So let's see why I love this theme song for 2020. All right, pile number two. I love it because this King of Wands is in the middle of the reading and he's staring us down like, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Who you gonna call? And there's a lion in the background behind him, but he doesn't seem to care. He's just pressing on. And actually the lion is following his fire. The lion is pretty much under his command. So with the King of Wands is brave, is courageous, is totally in control of his instinctual nature. And so I think that that's a big part of this reading for you, pile number 2. Also, it shows here with the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles together that you've got a lot of work that you are doing right now, and you need to be disciplined and scheduled and bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together. You need to be productive. You need to be following what you should be doing, right, in life. And I think that, you know, if you need to get up early to do it, or you need to spend time researching something, or you need to just go about your daily activities with more intention. And maybe there's been, you know, some fear around that in the past where you felt like you just really couldn't, because you would hurt someone else in that doing that, or you would upset others, right? And the King of Wands really is about, you know, saying, no, I mean, I care about others and what they're doing, but I'm lighting my own path here. And even though there's a lion literally a few feet behind me, I don't care. Like, here I am. And so that's awesome, pile number 2. I feel like with this void of course moon missing, you know, if we're talking about ghosts and the things that go bump in the night, that there's, you know, that's kind of interesting. And maybe you've been afraid of some of that in the past, and you felt like you had to hide, or that something was being covered up, right? And it's just showing that that is not, that fear can simply like drain away from you and leave you, and you've got King of Wands on your side. Additionally, with this Rebel card, you can see he's pushing out, and with his fire, just like the King of Wands is doing, he's pushing out. There are chains at the bottom of this card where his feet have broken free from. And so you can see that in your life, you are breaking free from your fears and circumstances in the past that have held you down from simply doing what you want to do. And so pile number 2, I'm going to read this Free from Judgment, Free to Love card for you from the Elena Fairchild Sacred Rebels deck. Again, with the breaking free of the chains, and this saying free from judgment, free to love, I think that that's a big thing for you, pile number 2. So let's take a look. 39. Okay. Imagine a world so infused with bliss, love, and wonder that you naturally always feel safe and nourished and like a cherished baby in the arms of the Universal Mother. Life mothers us with kindness, and sometimes we need to grow through challenge as well. Accepting this mothering in its gentle, fierce faces can be difficult at times. Yet there are those brave enough in spirit to go forth onto their life path with absolute trust in the Universal Mother. Some are even part of the plan to help other mothers so that they can too surrender fear and live more freely. This oracle comes with a message for you. You are learning about mothering and being mothered. You might not do this in a typical way. It might be done through bearing children, but it could also be done through adopting children, raising, or otherwise taking care of and loving children like they were your own. You may also be an aspect of a Universal Mother on a spiritual level. Some people that do this are male, some are female, right? This oracle brings you confirmation that you are amongst the Universal Mother's special plan of nurturing spirits that help to honor life on this planet, okay? And so with the Queen of Pentacles, definitely with the Universal mothering energy here is present as well. And that's maybe what you're trying to get to in your life, what you've been trying to get to as far as the fear and working through that, right? It says here, yet there are those brave enough in spirit to go forth onto their life path with absolute trust, right? So with the King of Wands and this Rebel here, being brave enough to go out on your path and face fear, right? And I think that that is a big part of your mission in life, pile number 2. So thank you so much. That was your reading. And let us move on to pile number 3. I'm just gonna check the technology again. Okay, perfect. We're in a Mercury retrograde, so you can never be too careful. All right. So pile number 3, Serpentine. If you picked Serpentine, this is your pile. Pile number 3. So what is your 80s song and why? Ooh, I love this one. It's Europe, the final countdown, right? So something is coming to an end in 2020 for you. And you're coming into an end, but a new beginning as well. So let's look at the final countdown. And I'm not going to sing this very well, but here's some lyrics for you. It says, we're leaving together, but it's still farewell. And maybe we'll come back to Earth, who can tell? It's the final countdown. We're headed to Venus, and still we stand tall, with so many light years to go and things to be found. I'm sure we'll all miss her so. Will things ever be the same again? So this is about endings, right? And letting go, and it's still farewell. Although we're leaving together, it's still farewell. I also think that this is, this song always reminds me of, we're leaving for Venus. Like some of you, for those of you who have a more spiritual bent, this might be like a final lifetime for you. And so you're actually in the final countdown, and this is like one of your last lives, or working on Earth anyway. And so it says we're heading to Venus, and we're leaving together. It's still farewell, and we'll miss her so, which I feel like is in conversation with Gaia or Mother Earth. For those of you that are not necessarily of a spiritual, or maybe you're a spiritual bent, but you don't think this is your final lifetime, it could be just about letting go of a situation that's come into its final fruition. And it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we just have to let go and say goodbye, right? It doesn't mean it's the end. So let's look at pile number 3. Oh boy. Okay, so I definitely heard, as I was pulling the High Priest over here, I definitely heard the word trust, and then I have this trust yourself card here. So I think that that's a big message for you. Pile number 3 in your message here, the final countdown, is about trusting and trusting the path for you. If something is ending, whether it's a way of thinking and a stubborn way of being in life, whether it's certain ways that you've been handling things and handling conflict that's ending, and you're finding more balance in your life, whatever it is for you, I do feel like this card here with the 3 of Chalices is we're headed to Venus, right? It's like we're letting go of situations that have been feel very battle heavy, right? Very Battlestar Galactica heavy. And we're heading to Venus for something much more joyful and happy and light and celebratory. And that's why we have the 3 of Chalices here. Cheerful, joyful celebration, and the celebrating of others too, right? The lifting up and the raising up of others in your friend group or in your social situations, where you really do inspire and lift each other up, right? And it might go from, feeling like that's the energy that you want to have in your life, but there is some stubborn energy that's just kind of, anchoring you down, along with some fighting, with some conflict that's been going on as well. And here you see this projection card, so there could definitely be like somebody could definitely be projecting some of their internal issues onto you. I also just thought of like Star Trek, and where people are like beaming themselves up and doing all of that and projection in like a way that's not negative, right? Like, how can we as humans think about projection in a way that would be positive? Like, beam me up, Scotty. But this shows with this High Priest card, this is, you know, essentially the Hierophant card in like a normal tarot deck, but we could be looking at Taurus energy here, especially with Venus. And then we've got the final countdown, and they're talking about we're headed to Venus. So we could be talking about Taurus and Libras here, particularly with this fine balance card as well. So there could be like a need in your life, like you've had conflict, you've had stubborn rigidity, you've had projection of others, and you need to find some balance in this. You need to find your joy and your blessings, right? And this Jupiter card here is all about finding the benefits for ourselves in situations. Like, even if this is our last lifetime on Earth, even if we're headed to Venus, how can we benefit? How can we really trust that we're on the right path, and that we're going to pick the most loving, generous choice for ourselves, right? Even if we feel like we've been trapped in continuous conversations or projections or conflicts that are just, at the end of the day, you know, not in line with what we want to be doing in our life. And this could definitely have to do with a relationship, and how for you letting go of a certain element of a relationship that isn't working. It doesn't mean necessarily letting go of the whole relationship. It just means that, you know, certain parts and elements of it need to be worked through. And I see this final countdown as like you're in the final stages of something in your life. Like, it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in those beginning and endings, you have to really trust yourself that you're going to make it out okay, and that you're going to pick the best, the thing that really elevates you, the thing that you really love, the blessings that want to come in for you and be in that space, right? You're really going to, and you might have to, it's saying, you know, this song is saying we're in this together, and this could be farewell, right? Like, we're in this together. We don't know what's going to happen next. It's the final countdown, right? So let's read about trusting yourself. Card number 31. You are wise. You know how to grow even without knowing you know how. Like the ancient forests and spectacular galaxies, and an acorn that becomes an oak, there is a natural intelligence for growth that is beyond logic and reason. It just happens. At the deepest levels, we are governed by this force that is so palpable, it literally shapes the world. At the same time, it is so invisible that sometimes we forget its presence and worry that our minds have to work everything out for life to happen, for us to be all right. We can become unnecessarily anxious about our affairs and how life will unfold, right? This oracle brings the message that you are growing. You really are. Don't doubt it. Even if you don't see it, remember that so much is happening when the seed is still unbroken in the ground. You're also being asked to trust yourself. You know how to grow. Don't overthink things. It won't help you. Don't worry so much. You're doing great at this game of job, or this great job in the game of life, right? So this whole thing, this whole reading for you, I just heard that trust word really loud and clear when it came through here, is the final countdown. So trust yourself that if there's any negative relationship situations or any issues that are holding you back, or old projections that you're still hanging on to, that you trust yourself. You will find balance with that. You will go to Venus and Jupiter. To me, I see this as like the Venus and Jupiter cards, which Venus and Jupiter are both lovely planets. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, and Jupiter being about opportunities and blessings that come into our lives, right? So trust yourself that you're on the right path and that you know what to do. And with the Hierophant here, you're connected to the wisdom as well. So Thank you, pile number 3. And let us move on to pile number 4. Check the technology again. Okay. And for you, pile number 4, you have the Smoky Quartz right here, this beautiful Smoky Quartz. If you chose pile number 4, what is your 80s theme song and why? So if you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. Let's see what your song is. It's Dolly Parton working 9 to 5. So let's read a little bit about this. It says, tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition. I'm not gonna keep singing. There's a better life and you dream about it, don't you? They just use you and your mind and never give you credit. Working 9 to 5 for service and devotion, you'd think you deserve a big fat promotion. So this has to do with feeling, with wanting more appreciation for what you do and wanting a bigger role in what you do, and looking for looking for a promotion, or maybe it has to do with feeling not appreciated by your partner, whatever it happens to be. Let's take a look at why you got this Dolly Parton 9 to 5. Also, it shows you're very ambitious and that you have a lot of discipline as well, because she's stumbling out of bed early and pouring herself a cup of ambition. So right away, right off the bat with the Chariot, we are talking about victory, and the 6 of Wands is all about recognition. So yeah, it shows here that yes, you are feeling like you're being unappreciated, and some situation is really driving you crazy mentally. It's really driving you crazy. And so you're definitely not happy with something in your life, and you could be looking for a new beginning or to start over, because you just are at your breaking point and feeling like someone is not, whoever it is in your life isn't appreciating you and isn't respecting you. And with this Chariot here, it shows that you're very driven to create something new, and you're very driven to make sure that your ambitions and become a reality. And then with the 6 of Wands here, it also shows like they're in a hand fasting ceremony actually, and he's looking on her with a lot of admiration and kindness. And I think that that's something that you could use more of in your life. Pile number 4 is more admiration and kindness from those around you. And if they aren't, if other people aren't stepping up to do that, then you'll do it for yourself, because we have the Fool here, which is all about new beginnings and finding the joy and stability in your life, right? This is a number 4, so it is all about stability too, that you're looking for. And then, just believing that you deserve better for yourself. I really see this Pisces energy as believing that, and you can make anything happen, that yes, you do deserve recognition for what you're doing. You're doing a lot. And sometimes it just feels like people aren't appreciating it or seeing it with all this black smoke right here with the flowers above and not within reach. So that's why you have Dolly Parton's 9 to 5, right? You have service and devotion. And because you've put in the hours and you put in the time, it's like, yeah, you will have success. You will have victory, because you have this Chariot and the 6 of Wands, and it may involve having to make a change, right? So let's look at this Power of Attraction, number 13 here, and read from Elena Fairchild's Sacred Rebel book. So with this Power of Attraction, it said, this is your time to play with fertility, to conceive, to create, and to embark upon the process of transformation with an open heart and mind. I love it because there's a baby here and they're talking about fertility. You may not know where all of it is going to lead. The Fool card, right? All you need to know is that it will be wonderful and exactly and perfectly what is needed. Beyond that, allow the energy of fertile growth and abundance that is now flowing so naturally and richly within you and around you to simply be. You are a big soul that often comes with big dreams. You might worry that you want too much out of life. Perhaps you think you're only capable of small dreams. If you have drawn the Oracle of Big Bold Vision as well, then this part of the message is highlighted for you. I'm going to say that you guys, pile number 4, have big bold vision anyway. So yeah, I think that's with the Chariot card. You do have a lot of ambition, and you want it to go. You want it to go, right? And you get very frustrated when things are not moving, because you put in a lot of work and effort, right? And so this is just saying your work and effort will be honored. You will find joy and stability, and that's what 2020 is about for you, which is why you drew this Dolly Parton 9 to 5. Okay, now we are going to move into our last pile. It's pile number 5. So for pile number 5, if you chose the Lemurian crystal, this is your pile. Welcome to your reading, pile number 5. I'm just going to check the technology. Okay, great. Just in a Mercury retrograde, we can't be too careful. So what is your pile number 5? If you chose the Lemurian crystal, what is your song for 2020? I love it. It's Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. And for those of you that remember this song from a few years ago, it was catapulted into popularity when everyone was Rick-rolling each other as a silly way to have this song play on the radio or in videos to one another. So it says, we're no strangers to love. You know the rules and so do I. A full commitment is what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Okay, so a full commitment is what I'm dreaming of. Never gonna give you up. Now this could be, if you're single and you're not looking, this could be about yourself. If you're in a relationship, a new relationship, or one that's been rocky lately, this could also be for you. So this is never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and hurt you. Oh yeah, well you can see with the 5 of Wands, there has been some type of fighting going on. Look at the 2 cats. They're wrestling each other. Ooh, yeah, 3 of Swords. Yeah, definitely something about relationship and fighting in relationship. Choose your battles. Pile number 5, right? Okay. So you also got the North Node, which is your life purpose, right? So something has been, I do think this reading is also, this is a general reading, so I do think this is for some people too that are in perfectly fine relationships and also single, that are not looking really, that, you know, this also can do with your own life purpose, like never gonna give you up, right? The North Node is your life purpose, never gonna let you down, never let yourself down, right? It's new birth, guarded vigilantly, right? So you have this new, even her, the way she's holding her hand over herself, you've got a new birth in your life and you're guarding it very vigilantly. Your life's purpose is just this, like this little acorn that you're just holding in the palm of your hand, right? So this could be your life purpose that you're really tapping into right now. They say with the North Node that between, like, you know, as you start getting from like 38 to 40 is really when your life purpose really starts to come out and be really, really strong. And that's different than the Saturn return, which happens, you know, in the first couple years of your 30s. So for those of you that are single and not looking, or in relationships that are like balanced and fine and everything's okay, I feel like I've got two readings here. It's the lighting up of your life purpose and this new birth of what you're carrying, you know, what you're holding and carrying. For those of you that are in relationships that are have had conflict recently and has brought you a lot of pain and sorrow, these people always remind me, for some reason, one of these guys that reminds me of John Travolta for some reason. But anyway, it's just showing that your conflict in your relationships have caused you great sorrow and heartache, and that to choose your battles, right? That these two cats here are like clawing at each other while these four people are standing in circle with one another and smiling and laughing and enjoying themselves, while these two cats literally like claw their eyes out, right? So this choose your battles is very appropriate to go with that card, because it's like, do we need to fight or don't we need to fight? Like, this is silly, right? We're in this beautiful beach with this water behind us looking at each other. We don't need to fight like this. And then also this Three of Swords and the sorrow is talking about, you know, the aftermath of a battle, and like how upsetting it can be, and just how broken we can feel after these fights, and where, you know, things are not respected with one another. And I think that, you know, this message of never going to give you up is like, you know, things might get hard, things might get tough, but I'm not going to give up on you. And that's a beautiful message, like, of compassion. When things get tough, like, it'll be okay. I'm still here for you, right? And so that can be your message for 2020. This also has to do with, Justice card has to do with keeping things fair and balanced, right? The opposite of choosing your battles, which is very Aries, warlike energy, choose your battles, be strategic, right? Versus Justice is like, is just everything fair? Does everything make sense? And if it doesn't, then let's weigh out what's happening here and come up with alternatives. And this new birth here is showing that there is a new situation that's already been in your life that's just working itself out right now, and that sometimes we have to take a step back and, you know, really think about what we're trying to create and what we've birthed into an existence, and if we can really care for that and love that in the way that needs to be done, right? And that's why we've got never gonna give you up here. So let's read this card 24. Okay. New birth guided vigilantly. Within you, perhaps even below the level of your consciousness awareness, there is fresh new life emerging like a vibrant green root shooting up from the earth. This new life is in need of your attention and your care. This could be a new relationship that needs tending with interest and kindness. It could be a new idea that you need to nurture into fullness, because it's going to hold special purpose for your life path. It might be something within you, a new behavior, a new way of looking at yourself, or a new way of being in the world that you need to tend to until it becomes more natural for you to embody, right? This is more significantly so if you've also drawn the oracle of defend to the end, the worthwhile, right? Defend to the end, choosing your battles here. If you feel drawn to do so, you may read the guidance for that card now. Drawing either of these cards may alert you to the fact that the idea you are currently nurturing, or soon will, but the idea with Justice here is appropriate for your life path, which is the North Node, right? So yeah, you just have a new situation, whether it be a new relationship or a new purpose that you're coming into, and you're having to choose your battles and work with your sorrow in this, and realize, like, hey, I'm never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you down, right? So thank you, pile number 5. That is your reading. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks, everybody.